In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to add the wheels to your car. Now, if you've closed Flash and you open it back up, you're going to notice that you still only have your 3 layers. Okay, make sure that your car layer is unlocked, and then you're going to double click to get inside that symbol. We've got all of our layers right here that composed our car, and I'm going to make sure that all of these layers are locked except for the front tire. Now I'm going to grab my circle tool, and I'm going to come here towards the front and hold down Shift and draw out a perfect circle. I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to draw a slightly smaller circle. Make sure that you have a stroke on your circles, and if you don't have one, you can add it using the ink bottle tool over here. So I'm going to grab my black arrow tool, and I'm going to double click on the smaller circle and center it with the bigger one. Now make sure that you don't deselect until you know it's in the right position. I'm going to use my arrows just to perfectly center it, and then I'm going to click on my stage. Okay, now I'm going to click in here, and I want mine to be, let's say, white. You can make yours whatever color you want. I'm going to change mine to solid, and I'm going to do white. Okay, for this part, for this part of the tire, I'm going to make it a radial, but I'm going to make it partly black, partly gray. So up here, I chose radial gradient, which is something that is more rounded. Right down here, I'm going to double click on this little color box and choose the first color that I want. Okay, it was already black, so that's fine. Now I'm going to double click over here, and I'm going to choose gray. Okay, you can adjust how much is in each by pressing and dragging. So just kind of play around with yours to make it exactly how you want. Okay, if you would like, you can add spokes or something like that. So I'm going to use my line and just press and drag. Okay, so that's what my tire is going to look like. So now I'm going to grab my selection tool, my black arrow, and I'm going to click one time on the layer's name. Okay, I want to convert this to a symbol, so I'm going to say function F8. Okay, and I'm going to name this tire. Notice that I'm not naming it front tire because this is going to be my front tire and my back tire. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And now you can either copy and paste this, or you can go to your library. I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer because I'm done with this part, and I'm going to unlock my back tire. Okay, you can either press and drag from here, or you can press and drag from the preview window and drag it where you want it to be. Either way, what I would do is, now that you have both of them on there, I'm going to unlock the front tire. Okay, if yours didn't automatically select, click one time here, hold down Shift, and click one time here. And we'll go to Modify, Align, and Align to Top. And that way they're both in line. And then you can click here and kind of move it where you want it to be. Okay, now I'm actually going to add the animation to my car. So I'm going to hold down Command and I'm going to go to minus. Now, my actual car, if I'm still inside the car symbol, is going to stay still, but we're going to add the motion to the actual wheels. Okay, right now I have all of my keyframes in frame 1. I'm going to scroll down here and let's say, how How about 165? If you click in the top layer and hold down Shift and click in the bottom layer, it selects each one of these, and you can add a keyframe by holding down Function and tapping on F6. Now this copied each one of these things to every single frame in between. And because we made keyframes, these can also be used for tweens, which is what you need for the animation. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to right click anywhere in between the two keyframes. Notice that I used the word between. So I'm going to right click in between the two keyframes in my front tire layer, and I'm going to create a classic tween. I'm going to do the same thing with the back tire. So create classic tween. And once I've added my tweens, I can click anywhere in between, and now my properties are talking about my tween. So I'm going to come here to rotate, and since I'm facing the right-hand side of the screen, I want my tires to rotate clockwise. And you can say how many times. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's say 10 times, and press enter. And we can just see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing down here. You want it rotating at the same intervals, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to do clockwise and 10. Press enter. Okay, so now if I click here and press enter, there are my animated wheels. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and move back to scene 1. And it would be a really good time for you to save. So I'm going to do File, Save. Okay, now that I'm back in scene 1, one of the things that I want to do is shrink down my car. Now that I've got all the details put into it, I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down. Since it's a symbol, I don't have to worry about anything moving around, so I'm going to select my symbol and use my free transform tool to resize it to be smaller. I'm going to grab my arrow tool, and I'm actually going to move it just slightly off the stage. Now, whenever we export this, whenever it's completely finished, the only part of the screen that's going to show is this white part. So she will actually be driving into the scene.